What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABCs. Today we're finally going to do that video that a lot of folks have been asking me about, all about my automated messaging. It's going to give you all the information about all the ways that we automate our messaging so that, the guest has a great experience, it feels like they're talking to us, and I don't have to physically type out all those messages. Because if you had to, you would stop self-managing very quickly. This is back when property managers dominated because this sort of technology didn't even exist. What we're looking to do with this is we want our guests to have the best experience. So we want them to have the most personal interaction that they can, or at least feel like they're having the most personal interaction that they can. A lot of the messaging that goes on in your Airbnb business day to day is routine messaging that can easily be handled by a computer program like the one I'm about ready to show you. These are, your response to an inquiry to book, respond to a request to book, respond to an instant booking that says, we've got your booking, this is what we need. It reiterates our house rules, things of that nature. Automatically putting out their check-in instructions, their check-out instructions, asking for a review, doing any of the normal questions that come in, for example, like discount questions about early check-in. You can automate all of those things, and then you can automate sending your reviews out. And even more importantly, really than that, and that's terribly important, but you can automate all of your messaging with your cleaners so that they can get your schedule. You can remind them of check-ins. And what I'm going to do today with you guys is just go through all of these things and just show you the way that I've worded these and how it all works. But first, if you guys don't mind hitting that subscribe button down below, it really helps this channel out and grow. Hit the like button. Also helps this channel and this video go forward in the YouTube algorithm. I'll get the screen record going because that's kind of a pain in the butt to get this all synced, and I'll take you through all of my automated messaging. All right, we are in my Hospitable account, and this is a property management software that's different than a property manager. This is like the brains of your entire operation. It's very important that you pick one that you're comfortable with, pick one that does all of the things that you want. The three that I find most commonly used, and there are hundreds of these property management softwares out there, but is Hospitable, which used to be called Smart B&B. There is Guesty for Host, which used to be called Your Porter, and there is OwnerRez, which as far as I know has always been called OwnerRez. Hospitable and OwnerRez seem to be the two most common ones used. OwnerRez has a lot of very advanced features that you can get into that I don't use right now, so I like Hospitable. The user interface is very good, the customer service is excellent, and those are the two things that Guesty, back when it was called Your Porter, didn't have. The user interface was awful. The customer service was even worse, and so I use Hospitable, but there are a ton of different ways that you can do them. And like I said, this is where all of the information comes in and out of our messaging, of our scheduling. This syncs our Airbnb and VRBO calendars together. It does a lot of cool things for us, but today we are talking about the messaging. And this is where you can get in here and just customize all of your messaging so it looks like it's coming from you, but it's actually coming from the computer. And there are times when you're going to have to manually message guests. I do it all the time, actually, once or twice a day. I'm manually messaging a guest because they've asked me a specific question, or, they said, we left you a 5-star review, so I have no problems getting on there and be like, thank you so much, or they've checked out, a little bit early, safe travels, hope you had a great stay, et cetera, things like that. But let's just get right into it. These are your message rules here. This is in the guest experience tab, and we'll just start with a new booking inquiry. And you can see where these have the on and off things. You can see which host they apply to, which properties, which platforms. In general, we have this set to all of them except for some specific check-in and check-out instructions, which we'll get to in a minute. But when you get into here, and a lot of these are going to start looking repetitive. Once I've shown you the first one, it's going to start looking like they're all basically the same, because they are. We want consistency through our messaging. We want just a certain format that everything looks very professional and as well done as you can. And as well done as you can. And this program allows you to basically make one message that is good for a lot of properties, because you use these things called custom codes, or their short codes, or whatever they call them. And so when you look at this one, and this is what our new booking inquiry. This says, hello, guest first name, so it customizes this message to the particular guest. Thank you for your interest in the property name, and that is going to be whatever you've named the property in Airbnb, which you can select which one it pulls that information from, and Airbnb just has a better data set, in my opinion, than VRBO. And for your trip in listing city, and this is where you could have like a place in Gatlinburg, and you could have a place in, let's say, Panama City. This same message can be used for both of those platforms because you're just pulling the information and it inserts it automatically. And it says, I want to confirm right away, it would be a pleasure to host you from the check-in, check-out dates for the guests, for the number of nights. And then we say the dates go fast. We advise you to book your trip as fast as possible. That's true. They do tend to go fast with the properties that we have, since they're top tier properties. But it also kind of gives that what am I trying to think? That scarcity mindset, where they you need to get it now, or else you may not be able to take the vacation you want. And then in every single interaction that I have with guests, from the time that they inquire to the time that they get their check-in instructions, I always include the house rules, and this pulls the house rules from the specific listing that this particular person is into it. I put down here, the violation of these rules could result in additional fees or cancellations of your bookings, and please don't hesitate to ask whatever for extra questions. Best regards, host first name. And that kind of keeps things very informal, because if you would say your first and last name, president of the LLC or whatever, it's just very formal. The Airbnb and VRBO are informal type of travel accommodations, and so I always like to try to keep things as informal as possible. Now, if we go back, we can look. This is a request to book. This is if they want to go ahead and book. And again, you're going to see that it looks very similar. The only thing that's very different on this is it's going to give you the total price. And depending on what platform you're on, if there's having errors, VRBO has a lot of errors. That may not work exactly right, but that doesn't have any, the price that they have listed there doesn't really have any impact on the actual price they pay. This just pulls information off of those platforms and inserts it into these different things. So let's go down here to a new reservation. This is when someone has said, we're booking your place. We are, we're in. It says the first, again, guest first name, property name, check in, check out, night's guest. This is where you put in the things that you want them to do after booking. For example, here, a valid photo ID, preferably a driver's license, is required to be submitted as soon as possible. And we tell them that the booking platform doesn't share their ID, which they don't share IDs with us. And if for some reason you can't upload your ID in the platform messenger, you can email it to our email address. And what that does is, because VRBO, it's not a great tech setup. It's like state-of-the-art 2014. Some people are able to upload their ID on the messenger. A lot of people aren't, so we just have them send it to this Gmail account. And then I put down there that we only use this to verify the minimum age that we require, and do not collect or share your personal information in any way. And that's true. I don't keep any of their information, their email address, anything like that. I just don't do that, and I want people to know that. And then I put in here that 3 days before your arrival, around 4 p.m., you're going to receive additional messaging that includes the exact address, door code, and everything for a smooth check-in. And I had a lot of questions about when will we get our check-in instructions. So I went ahead and I put that in there with their booking confirmation, so that they would know that. I still get a couple people that don't read it, but it for the most part, that has dealt with people asking about when they're going to get the address, the door code, etc. Again, I give them the house rules, and then the violations, blah 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 blah. I just continue to harp on this house rules. The reason I did this is because when I first got started, we were having a lot of people sneak in pets, and so I made the house rules very apparent on every single thing that we do. These next two that I want to share with you guys, these are the ones about discounts and early check-ins. If somebody asks for a discount, this platform can pick up in their messaging. It reads it, it does some AI, computer wizardry, whatever, that they are looking for a discount, and it automatically sends this message out and says, unfortunately, we do not offer specific discounts. We price our cabins dynamically so that the best rate is the best rate shown at the time. If you're interested in staying at whatever property it is, I encourage you to book as soon as possible. Rates tend to go up, you know, blah, 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 blah. And some people reply to that, some people don't. That turns some people off, but we are not looking to cater to discount seekers. We are not going to be the lowest price cabin on the block. We are a premium product, and we have no problems charging a premium price for that, you know, depending on the seasonality at hand. Another thing is early check-in. You're going to get a lot of early check-ins, and you would be sending this out a lot, typing it manually. This recognizes, and it says down here, and under timing, this it answers instantly. This message after a question about early check-ins is detected, and it says that, you know, our normal check-in time is 4 p.m. But if the cabin is ready to go, we'd be happy to accommodate an earlier check-in. Message me when you're close, and I'll let you know if your cabin's ready for your stay. And if it is, I let them check in early. It's not a big deal. And there's also on all of these a lot of fine-tuning that you can do with the platforms, the properties, who is able to send this, et cetera, et cetera. If you have multiple hosts on your Hospitable account. So the rest of the messages, it just goes like that. We have individual check-in instructions for each one of our cabins. As you can see, each one of these cabins has a different check-in instruction. That's because each one of those cabins has, you know, unique features about them that may not be able to be accommodated with just one check-in message. And you can just copy these, because a lot of times you just need to change a little bit of thing. Copy it. Change the things you need to do, set it for whatever property, and we'll go into this one. You can come down here, and where is the settings? You can add pictures of these too, which is nice. I've always put pictures on the ones that I can't. It's just another little personal thing that, you know, it doesn't feel so corporate, you know, weighty type of stuff, and says, hey, you're near the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Get out of my place and go look at that. You are near the Sinks. You're near Klingman's Dome. Go take a look at it. But down here, you can select which properties. You can put all properties, or you can select the one that it goes with. In this case, it's Moonlight Ridge, the first one that we had bought for $525,000. It kills. It makes like $90,000 a year, and you can select those. You can also do. I have this set up for offering discounts for orphan days before and after their bookings. In that, the ones before the booking, it gets sent out 5 days before the booking. The ones after the booking gets sent out 2 days before they check out. And you can see the timing on this, and you can see that we've set up a custom code that says Orphan Night after checkout. And you would let me see if I can get to those really quick. Yeah, so to go to your custom codes here. You make these, and they have the percentage signs that go with them. You come up with these, and then you can add them into a automated message that detects, you know, the things, or you know, detects in your calendar when those orphan days are and sends them out. And you can come up with these and write up anything you want. As you can see on this one, I've made it up. It has all of the custom code percent sign things, and all the information that you would need to know if you were to, you know, use this. And this video is getting a lot longer than even I like to talk for, and I talk forever. But this is all very important because this is going to make your life a lot easier. And there is a lot of setup on this on the front end, but it makes it a whole lot easier on the back end. So that is your guest experience kind of overview of messages. And you can get in there and fine tune it however you want and make whatever verbiage that you want. That's only one part of the equation. The other part is the operation side of things, where you have your cleaners automated, your pest control automated. All these things are automated, and we will just go through these very briefly because, you know, this video is getting probably to be about 11, 12, 13 minutes long, and that's a long time for a YouTube video. So in these, I set these up so that when somebody checks in, and they make a, not checks in, but they make a reservation, I have this so it automatically notifies the cleaners via email. That's there, and work with your cleaners on this. They want emails, make it for emails. They want text messages, make it for text messages here. It's very easy to change all this stuff. But it says, you know, dear teammate, we've received a reservation for the address. These are the check-in, check-out dates. This is the number of guests, the reservation code, all these things that you might want to include in your notification. And that will allow them to be able to put that on whatever calendar that they use, or you can even give them access to these calendars, and which I've done for my cleaners and for my pest control people. They can just come in anytime, look at any property's calendar, know when people are coming and going, know when there's open spots to get into. And that allows them to be able to do that without contacting you, without having you screenshot your calendar and send it to them all the time. I've also automated altered reservations. So if we change someone's days, it automatically sends an email to them, cancel reservations. And then we've had a couple times where I've been sitting here waiting for my cleaners to go into the place and clean, and I can see what the smart locks are doing. There's been a couple times where it's been like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I haven't heard from them because they usually say, hey, we're on our way or whatever, and I haven't heard from them. So I'd text them and they'd be like, oh man, we did forget, good thing. And so this is a spot where you don't need to get crazy with people and be like, well, you need to do this. You work on a way to eliminate these failures, eliminate these failure points as you come to them in any business that you're in. But, you know, in this particular one, I said, well, what can we do? What if I put in check-in reminders? And she was like, yeah, that sounds great. That's awesome. And I said, well, how do you want? Do you want an email? Do you want them text message? Because a lot of people get way too many notifications. I get too many notifications a day and it drives me insane. But she said that would be extremely helpful if we had email and text message notifications. I said 4 hours before. I said, because you guys are usually on it all the time. But she said, yeah, that would work 4 hours before. And so I just came up with these check-in reminders for both email and text message so that we can make sure that we don't miss any cleans, and we give, you know, at the end of the day, we are giving the guest the absolute best experience, the most seamless experience that they have for their money, because they are paying top dollar for what I consider these top tier properties. And thus far, the feedback that we've gotten over the last, almost 2 years has been overwhelmingly positive. Most of our listings have a 4.9, 3 or 5 rating or higher. Just fantastic reviews. And so if you guys have any questions about this, leave them down in the comments thing for me. There's a lot of the stuff that you guys are just going to have to get in there and mess with yourself, play around with it. There's going to be errors. When we put this new property on, we had a couple of errors in the way things were sent out, in the information that was sent out, the timing of things that were sent out, and you just correct those along the way. People are usually very understanding, as long as when you're first putting stuff in in service, and you always have to be cognizant of this, but especially right when you make changes, that you are following up to make sure that everything is working exactly the way that you want. Guys, I want you to click on the videos on the screen if you're still around at this probably nearly 20-minute mark on this. This is going to tell you all about the properties we're buying, how we manage these things remotely, all of this automated stuff that we are doing. Subscribe down below so you don't miss anything in the future. Hit the like button. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you hanging on for this long, and I will see you on the next one.